Hello friends, this is Ryan Hicks of TaughtToProfit.com. Today I want to talk to you about mentorship and do you really need it? I've heard people say, I just can't be successful. I don't have a mentor because so-and-so had a mentor and this person had a mentor. The problem many people today are not realizing is that many of these people promoting mentorship are selling some version of it. And that's why they promote mentorship so much. A large majority of successful people, talking millionaires and billionaires, had no mentors. They just simply didn't. And the new money coming up today, people that came from nothing, the vast majority of them did not have mentors. They just didn't. So this idea you somehow need mentorship, listen, here's a point. If you need to have someone to walk you step by step through something, you're probably not cut out for that industry. You're probably not cut out for that business, because this is something that comes natural to you and you at least have some intuitive approach to this business instead of needing somebody to literally hold your hand and walk you through it step by step. And so to me, if somebody is promoting mentorship and talking about how they had mentors, they had this mentor and 2 mentors and 3 mentors and 4 mentors and 5 mentors and whatever, at some point you got to realize that's not true. And you also got to realize, and this should be a huge red flag for you, is if they are promoting mentorship, they have some sort of mentorship program or book series or whatever that's supposed to mentor you. My friends, don't fall for this nonsense. I'm not saying a mentor couldn't be very helpful. They absolutely can in certain cases, but you don't need it. I've done it. I've known many people who have done successful businesses, started from scratch by themselves with no advice from anyone else, no mentorship, no coaching, nothing, and did very well. Now, could we have done better if we had a mentor? Sure. But those people don't exist. They're not just on every street corner, some guy able to tell you how to become a success in business and give you a step-by-step approach. Those don't exist, my friends. The ones that do, they charge huge amounts. They should be charging $10,000, $25,000, and that should be every few months, because their time is too valuable to waste walking somebody step by step through these things that may or may not find success in the first place. Because the reality is they know a lot of these people hiring mentors aren't going to make it. They just don't have what it takes. They have money right now to get started, but they don't have what it takes, because the people who have what it takes just go out there and do. They do things. They take action. They don't have to wait around for a mentor to show up on their doorstep to tell them what to do step by step. Yes, a mentor can help you and cut out a lot of things that you would go through if you're doing it by yourself without any kind of counsel. But my friends, there are books upon books upon books, millions of books. Grab some of these business books, grab these biographies, grab these autobiographies of these very successful businessmen and women, read them. You can learn so much just from that. There's so many principles you can learn, and seek God. The Bible's very clear. If you ask God, He will give wisdom. He gives wisdom liberally to those that ask Him. I'm not telling you to not get a mentor, to avoid that or anything like that. I'm just saying the reality is you don't need one. Maybe you could be helped by it. A coach could be helpful for you, somebody to kind of look at what you're doing and give you some advice on things that maybe could be improved, especially if they're from a different industry, because they might see it in a completely different light. And that could be very beneficial. Instead of having people work around you and are in the same industry, and they may not see inefficiencies and things because it's just the way everybody does it. Maybe the way everybody's doing it is wrong. And so someone outside the industry, a different view of that business could give you some good advice. That could be beneficial maybe. And a mentor, if you could find someone that's willing to walk you through step by step into an industry or a business, that would be great. But there's just not very many out there. And the ones selling their services online, they're not very good. Many of them have never had any success at all, except in selling mentorship and coaching and teaching programs, but they never had any success in business, actually. Now I'll give you an example. One of these online, actually there's a couple of them, but one of them in particular, somebody asked me about this, said, I'll go ahead and try them. I'll see what you're talking about. Because they were interested in signing up for this expensive mentorship program, and they asked me if I knew anything about the person. I didn't. So I signed up for it and talked to the guy. And here's what he said after about 5 minutes of talking to me. We were talking about my business and where I was and everything. And I was waiting to see, what does this guy have to offer? And he said this, 5 minutes in, well, from talking to you already, I should be paying you to mentor me. And then you start talking to him even more and realize this guy didn't have any business skills. He's just a professional mentor, but he's never done anything. He's not even a coach because he can't even motivate you very well. And these are people charging thousands of dollars. My friends, you don't need this. I am not dismissing the industry completely, that you don't need a mentor, that there's no value in it. By saying you don't need a mentor, I'm just saying most people, that's not going to make or break them. It could be helpful. If you can find someone good in the industry you're at, you're working in, you want to succeed in, that's great. But just hiring some random guy on the internet that doesn't do anything, or if you met at some meetup or whatever, and it's just, that's what he does, is sells mentorships or coaching or whatever, and he's never actually had any success at anything, why would you want to be mentored or coached by that kind of individual? And I'm not knocking them. Maybe they're great people, but this is not the kind of thing you should be spending your money on. You should spend your money on good books that relate to your industry. Spend money on advertising your products or your service. Spend money on hiring people. That's way more valuable than mentors and coaches if you're at that point. So my friends, don't get caught up in this kind of nonsense. A mentor could be great for you, could be very beneficial, but you don't have to have one to be successful. Probably the vast majority of people have not had one and they've become very successful. Yes, there is benefits to having a mentor, and you could maybe avoid some things that you wouldn't have otherwise avoided by just doing it yourself. But you could also just waste money and have someone that has no idea what they're doing, no idea what they're talking about, babble to you platitudes and nonsense and catchphrases. I'll give you another example. I knew a guy who was supposedly this success maker, and I talked to him a little bit, and he literally had nothing of importance to say. And he had all these catchphrases and nonsense sayings that he had been reading from other people and never learned anything of value himself. You know, he's repeating, well, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and a penny saved is a penny earned. And just all this drivel and catchphrases and nonsense and stuff he's never even thought about. He's just repeating things. And he had nothing of substance. I stopped him one point and said, do you have anything that's not a catchphrase? What do you mean? You're just repeating old Jim Rohn quotes and Tony Robbins quotes, and you haven't said anything. These things aren't substantive, and they're not even true in some cases. Well, you know, this is valuable information that people pay me tens of thousands of dollars for. Well, they're overpaying by tens of thousands of dollars then. My friends, you don't need these kind of people in your life that basically are just selling you snake oil. They got some secret plan. Most of them are just hoping that you do well enough on your own, that you've become successful, and then they can use you as a testimonial on their website. Because they don't have any businesses that they can show for themselves to have been successful at. And the reason they're doing mentorship in the first place is because they don't have a business actively going that's making any money, so they have to resort to that because they can't make money on their own. Because somebody making millions of dollars a year doesn't have time to be a mentor for $1,000 a year or $10,000 a year or $25,000 a year. They don't have that time. Their time's worth way more than that. And they're either going to do very little work with you at all for that money, or they're going to put a lot of time into you, but they have nothing to offer. Because if they had any kind of success, they don't have time to waste for $25,000 to spend it with you for a few hours a month of their time. They don't have the time for that. Their time's worth way more than that. And this is the problem you run into. And this is why you don't need a mentor in the first place. These people that you get access to like that are charging for, they're professional mentors, they don't have what you need in the first place. You need somebody successful, active doing that. You'd be better off going to that place, that business, asking that person if you can work for free, if you can intern, whatever you can do. That would be better. That'd be more productive. It wouldn't even cost you anything except for your time, and you'd be getting valuable on-the-job training, learning in that industry. So my friends, no, you do not need a mentor. A mentor might be able to help you, but most of these mentors out there today are not of any value. And don't think a higher price means they're more valuable. That's just an old marketing trick of giving a higher perceived value because it costs more. If they charge the $97 that it's really worth, nobody's going to buy it. But if they charge $5,000 or $10,000, wow, this must be really valuable. I got to buy this. This is going to really be more valuable. It's got to be more valuable. It's $5,000. Well, the reality is it probably doesn't have a whole lot of substance, and most of them do not. Now, maybe you know someone that is really great. They're a great mentor. They really help a lot of people. They build a lot of businesses up, and that's great. And I'm sure there are people out there like that. I know a couple of them like that. But the vast majority, that does not apply to, my friends. So you do not need a mentor to be successful. You could absolutely be successful without ever having a mentor or ever talking to a mentor in the first place. So my friends, don't beat yourself up and say, well, I just can't do it because I need a mentor and I don't have the money for that, or I don't know who could mentor me. You don't need one. Get out there and do something. This is the biggest hindrance to everyone in most business is they don't take enough action. They don't take action at all in most cases, but they don't take enough action. You're working 5, 6, 7, 8 hour days. Maybe you need to work 2 or 3 more hours. And you don't have to do that forever, but especially when you're getting started, you got to work long hours. I worked 24-hour days, numbers of days in a row sometimes when I first got started in my first large business. And the reality is that's sometimes what it takes. And a mentor is not going to be able to make you do that. A coach cannot make you do that. That has to be something coming from within. You have to have a desire and a passion for what you're doing and a willingness to make a few sacrifices right here and now for long-term success. So my friends, just get out there and do something. Stop waiting for a mentor or a coach to come along. Get out there and do something now, and you will find success. I pray it's been a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.